Deep Dive with David Stendhal, where we trade without ego, no emotion, no greed, and no opinion. Before we begin tonight's video blog, please read over our trading disclaimer and remember to trade smart and accept the reality that trading futures is risky. This presentation does not provide buy-sell recommendations, and our information is strictly provided for educational purposes only. As always, trade at your own risk and analysis. Hey, it's David Stendhal with tonight's deep dive for October 10th, 2017. What I want to show is, before we even begin tonight's deep dive, is where do you find the statistics on this particular page on our website. So if you come to our site, you come to Signals, you come to Deep Dive Analysis, and that will bring you to the page that we're actually talking about here. And tonight's deep dive is going to focus on gold. Gold's got a mixed bag when it comes to its trends, which is going to be helpful for our description for tonight's video. And it has kind of a weak technical overview as far as the determination as to where the market's going to be actually headed. But what's prompting this deep dive is the wave low that triggered. So let's again take a look at our TradeStation. We're going to look at our daily bars, and you see that today's action was a continuation of the market low, the pivot low that occurred on October 6th. And so what we're seeing right now is that wave low, which has been triggered. It's got that little blue line, a little blue dot here on the wave level indicator, and it's telling us that the trend may be changing. And so where we stand right now is, obviously it's pivoted, and it's been very strong over the last couple of days, and it's now coming up to its 50-day moving average, which also corresponds with the resistance level that we see through here. We've got very strong resistance when we attach these three together and we come all the way across. It happens to correspond with a target that would be just a little bit above where the 50-day moving average is, but the 50-day moving average is starting to head a little bit higher as well. So to give you an idea, some targets for where it may be going, resistance is at 1,304, we'll call it, with this particular resistance level, and the moving average itself is at almost like 1,300, so kind of a nice big round number. So that's obviously where I think the market's going to be headed, given the fact that we had that pivot low. But I also want to show you the fact that the market is relatively quiet, and it leads me to believe that the market's going to go into that resistance level I just talked about, and then make its next move. So if we come to our volatility analysis, which is under charts and then volatility analysis, you'd get a description of all the different markets here. And I just want to show this chart and then a little more detail. Gold is towards the bottom. The fact that it's a tan line represents that the volatility is relatively quiet, and it's not really all that descriptive, and that's good, because soon when we hit this resistance, I think we'll start to see an increase in volatility. So to actually see what the volatility is doing, we'd come up to gold, we'd go into a little more detail, and we'd pull up the chart here. You can see that just recently with that downturn in gold, we actually had this darkish color, and that represents high volatility stage. And we typically go from high to nothing to low, and then repeat the cycle. So right now we're in that nothing phase, where it's neither high nor low, but it is something that's in a transition phase, is probably the best way to express it. So what have the systems been doing? If you want to see where the systems are, you come to Signals at the top. In this case, because we're going to look at a market, we're going to look at the market signals, and this would be the page we're going to look at. We'll look at gold here in just a second. But I also want to show all these statistics that we have towards the bottom. The first one is just open profit, and you can see gold here with a nice little open profit. It's under 3,000 per contract, but nonetheless, the sector as a whole is doing pretty well with gold, copper, and platinum. So if we want to pull up gold itself, we just simply click on it. And I want to show something that's kind of, well, it's what's taken place here. I mentioned that the pivot low occurred on October 6th. That's when our systems, or at least two of them, went long the market. Today, on October 10th, we had a short that executed, and we just had a weekly execute, one long one short. So on one day, we had a short-term system, meaning in time frame, 90-minute bar system went short, and we had a weekly system that went long. So they're conflicted as to where the market's actually headed. But when you look at the two different time frames, you actually are getting two different stories. So net, we have three that are long and one that is short. So we're net long two positions. This is where the portfolio comes into play and why it is that we look at lots of different time frames and lots of different trading styles. So we have a couple of trend-based systems with the three systems here at the top here for Aldebaran, and then we also have a serious weekly system that's swing based. So net we're long two positions, but it's just kind of curious how we had one system that went short and one system went long on two very different time frames. If we look at well, actually, I'll show this. If we look at the market then, so where are we headed? With today's action, with where we are essentially right now as I'm doing this video at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, gold is at 1291. So there's a good chance, since the gold in particular, along with the S&P, like round numbers, it'll probably go up and test intraday the 1300 level, which is that resistance level. Volatility is low as I described, and then we're going to get an idea as to what's going to take place. Either A, the short system is going to start to add to positions and the weekly system will unwind if the market should start to fall, or if there is legitimate strength, and the weekly is going to take a little while for it to really kick into gear, but there could be another trend to the upside, and if that happens, we'd be looking at this higher level of basically 1360 on gold, if that's what's going to take place. But for right now, I just want you to focus on the 50-day. I want you to focus on these resistance levels, and obviously watch what the systems do, given the fact that there's a little bit of a mixture taking place. The other thing I just want to quickly address, if you'll indulge me, is people have been asking, where's the video blog? Where do we see these things on a regular basis? If you're seeing it on my Twitter feed, you'll click and you go directly to it. But if you're going to want to go to the site and you want to find it where it is, it's under video blog. You'll see all the blogs that we post every single night. And then what you can do is pull up the one that will appear here shortly. In a little while here, you'll see the gold system as well. So with that, I just want to thank you for watching, and I want you to continue to look over and watch this deep dive, because a lot of markets are making some moves. I just simply focused on the wave low that occurred here in gold. Let's see how much more strength we can have into that resistance level, and we'll play it from there. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.